Welcome to day 2 of our Linux command line series. Today we are diving into how to manage files and directories, which is a fundamental skills for navigating our Linux or Unix operating system. So throughout this lecture, we will explore how to navigate your file system, create and remove files and directory as well. And we'll do some practice with hands-on exercise. So if you're ready, let's get started. Let's begin. Part 1 would be file navigation. So when you talk about file navigation, how do you move within files? First of all, you need to know where you are located. If you're familiar with your Windows system, you will know that that is done by just using your mouse to navigate. But since we are learning Linux and we are using the Linux operating system, the Linux command line, the objective is for you to be able to do the navigation from your command line interface. So for you to first of all know where you are in Linux, there is a command called pwd, which is a print working directory, or you can call it present working directory. It's actually the print working directory. So it prints your working directory, like your present working directory. If you do pwd, it tells you where you're located. So I'm located in the home of master. I'm located in the home of master. The user that I'm logging with is called master. So with a pwd, I can get that. So it tells me my current directory in the directory tree, right? So the next command we'll look at is the ls or the list command. The list command, what does the list command do? The list command lists files and directories in your current location, in your present working directory. If you just type the ls, the list command is written as ls. So it's a list command. When I type ls, it gives you the listing, give you the basic listing. With just the ls, give you the basic listing. Basic listing means, okay, without any additional information. There are attributes you can add to this command to give you more detailed information, but we are limiting it to the basics, all right? So ls gives you the list. It's like going to your window and opening a folder. For example, a music folder, you should be able to see a list of musics inside, or open a gallery, photo gallery folder. You'll see photos inside, images, PNG, JPEG, and all formats of pictures that you have. Or you open your document or your download folder by clicking, you go inside, you're able to see that. So how do we do that in the Linux command line? We do that in the Linux command line by using the ls command. So basically, we gives you the basic, the ls give you the basic. So I can also pass a parameter. I can do the ls, just like you can choose a folder you want to view the content. Remember, ls is listing the content of a folder, of a directory, or your present directory. If you just go with the ls, it gives me the content of my current directory. But what if inside my current directory, I want to list the content of a different directory? So let's say I want to list the content of the directory called desktop, or okay, let's choose a different one. I want to list the content of the directory called new directories. Okay, ls that will pass in the directory new, but a new directory, pass in the directory. By passing the directory, you can see that we have file 1, file 2, and file 3 inside the new directory. So you can list directory, you can list the directory content in the directory, but we are still in our present working directory. Remember, we have not gone anywhere from our present working directory, pwd. We are still in the present working directory. Okay, so now still on this ls or the list command, we could do ls-l, and the ls-l, what does it do? It provides a detailed list including permission, the size of a file, and the ownership of the file. Gives you permission, the size, and ownership of the file. So if I do -l, you see that our list has extended. You can see from here, let's take an example of a file. For example, you can see the permission on the file, read, write. Okay, talk about read, write, read only. So we'll look at permissions more later. You can see the owner, the group. You can see the size of the file, the date, and more detail about the file by using the ls. Okay, so we can be able to see the more details about the file when we use the ls-l. All right, the next one we're looking at is after ls-l, The next one we're going to look at is ls-a. And what does ls-a do? ls-a gives you more details, including hidden files. It gives you details, it includes hidden files. I mean, you're able to view your basic listing plus even hidden files as well. So, and what are hidden files? Hidden files are those files that start with a dot. So you cannot see, if I just do the basic ls, you will not see you will not see any hidden files because they are files that start with dot. But if I do ls-a, you see that we are seeing even more files because now we can see even files that are start with dot .cache, dot .config, dot all of these files, dot .ssh, and you can even list the content of those files. So with a basic list command, you don't see those hidden files. You have put them in a hidden file for a reason. So you don't just want them to be visible anyhow, right? So they are put in the hidden file for a reason. The next command we will look at, that is the ls command. That's a basic. That's what you should know for now about the ls command. Remember, basic ls command list. We started with the pwd to see your present working directory. Ls, the basic ls gives you the basic. It gives you the basic listing of your current directory. You can do ls-a, -l, which gives you more details, including ownership, group ownership, file ownership, and directory ownership, as well as the file size. You have ls-a, which gives you, which also gives you permission and also gives you hidden files. Okay. So you do ls-a, it shows you hidden files. ls-a, remember, shows you hidden files. Oops. ls-a shows you hidden files. ls-l gives you detail, including permission, ownership, who owns the file, and so on. So the next command we're looking at now is the cd command. The cd command is remember we are still talking about the navigation command. The cd command helps you to now move. Remember, you have only been able to see by the listing your current directory and so on. But now, how do you navigate from one directory to the other? And folders in Linux are called directories. When you hear me using the word directory, no, I'm talking about folders if you're familiar with your Windows system. So this directory, my present working directory, is in the home of the master user, right? So, but inside this home.master user, I can see that these are different folders. There are folders and files in this. These ones you see with these colors are folders, or call them directories. That directories means you can navigate into those directories, as well as you can list the directory like we've done. So, but at this moment, we want to look at the cd command, which helps you to navigate, like otherwise move from one directory to another. So cd, the command goes with cd and then the directory underscore name. So the directory name, you type the cd command and then the directory name will be what you put here. That's the structure of the command. So it will move into the specified directory. So because directory name is not a directory in this location, it shows an error. So it shows you that directory does not exist. So, but let's navigate into a directory called new directory. There's a directory called new directory. So if you do cd, just to let you know that, okay, just to let you know that when you type the command, you actually see the change. If you do pwd again, you see that where we are, home of master. If you do list, you'll see the contents that are located in this directory. So if I clear that and I do cd into new directory, you will see that now we are in a different directory. If I do pwd, present working directory, you see that I have navigated from home of this to, I'm now in the new directory folder or directory, I'm the new directory. Okay. So how do we also see ls? If you do the ls, you see that we have 3 different files in here. We can do ls-a to see hidden files. We see hidden files or hidden directory. We can do ls-l to see details on each directory or files, who owns them and so on. So you can see on this file test.apy, it's read, write, read, write, read. Means that the owner can read and write, the owner can read and write, the group can read and write, and every other person can only read this file. So it gives you the master is the owner. The file also belongs to the group called this, and the file has size 0, is 0. So it shows that there's basically nothing in the file, right? So if I do something like let's say echo echo let's say echo echo ls into this. Let's a.py. So ls-l. You see that this has changed. The size of this file has changed because there's something now inside. If I do ls, if I do cat test a, you see, I send this data in the file, and if I do ls this, you can see the content of the file. So, but all right, let's move on. So if you do, remember we are still in the move. If you do cd dot dot dot, what happens is that it moves up the parent directory. It moves up the parent directory, present working directory. You can see where we are. This is the parent directory, and this is the child directory, meaning that this directory or this folder is inside this folder, which means that if we want to move up into the parent directory, or if we want to move upward, you can do cd dot dot. You do cd dot dot, you're moving up one step in the parent directory. pwd, you're moving up the parent directory. Now, if I do cd new, so I'm going back to the previous directory. If I do cd tilt, this is a tilt command, tilt. If I do cd tilt or simply cd, what happens, it will return me to the home directory. So if I just do cd tilt, it will return me to the home directory, present working directory. See, it has taken me back to the home directory. I take cd dot dot, it takes me to home. So if I do cd, just cd, and I do pwd, you see it has brought me back to home. It brings me back to home. Okay. So what I want you to do now, if you've not been following, you can just pause the video at this point, and I want you to open your terminal. There is a terminal on your whatever machine you're using right now, your Windows. If you're using from Windows 10 upward, or if you're using a Mac, you can open your terminal and do the same commands. I'm actually running this in a Linux environment. But you can do that on your MacBook. Just open the terminal and try to run some of these commands like pwd. Just see what happens. If you have a Linux system set up already, try them out and see the outcome. It's always best if you can experiment on your own. So what I want you to do is type the pwd command to see your current directory. Run the ls command to list the files and folders in your directory. And I want you to change directory execute a change directory command. Particularly, I want you to do the cd. This is if you're running on a Linux system, do cd/etc, cd/etc. And after that, you do pwd, present working directory. Now you're in the etc directory. If I do ls, you see that what you can see now is different from what you were seeing before, because you are now located in a different directory. Remember again, if you just do cd without anything or with the tilt, it will take you back to your home where you want to go. So if I do cd, it takes me back to home. I'm now back in the home of master. All right. So that concludes the first part of our lesson. The next part we want to look at is creating files and directories. Now we have looked at, remember, we are still under, this lesson is focused on the navigation, right? Navigating the files and the commands and so on. So the next session, we're talking about creating files and directories. So I'm trying not to rush because I know not everybody is at the same level here. So I'll try to go as slow as possible. If you think I'm too slow, you can increase the speed on the video to go at your pace. But I'm going to go a little bit slow so that everybody will be able to catch up. All right. So now, at this point that you now know how to move around, moving from one directory to the other, let's learn how to create new directories and files. So this is how you organize. This is how you organize and start projects. It's how you organize and start projects. For example, key commands like, how do you make your directory? If you want to start a new project directory, for example, you will use the create commands. The command to create a directory or to create a folder is a mkdir, which is a make directory. It's called in make directory. And then your directory name. What follows next is your directory name. Whatever the name of your directory is, you can put it here. In this case, we're going to say, let's name it project or my project, my underscore projects or my dash project. I'll just use my dash projects. Put my dash project. So now you create a project name. If I now do ls, I should be able to see a directory called my project here, which means I can create different things here. Okay, so let's say we'll go now inside our project. We say to move into your project, can you guess what command we're supposed to use to navigate into our my project folder? Can you? Okay, so if you said the cd command, then you were right. Cd my project. So if you cd into my project, ls, there's nothing inside my project, pwd, we're inside my project and there's nothing inside. Okay, so now let's create let me show you how you can create nested directories. Nested directory is when you're creating a directory and another directory inside a directory, like you're creating a folder inside a folder. But how do you do that? You do that by using the make dir, which is the make directory. This time around, you have to use a -p, and then the parent directory. Let me say, okay, directory 1 or dir1, directory p for parent directory, / directory _c for child directory. So now do ls. Now see that we have the parent directory. If I do ls directory, you should have inside the directory, you have the child directory. So we are listing the content of the directory by saying ls directory p. We are saying that we want to list the content of the directory p, and we can see that the child directory is inside the parent directory. So that is how you create a directory or a folder. Now, remember, we are now looking at how to create a file. Remember, you have learned how to create a directory, how now to create a file. So a file can be created inside a directory. So let me start by showing you the command. There are multiple ways to create a file. Now you can create a single file as well as you can create multiple files at once. That's the beauty of using commands to create file. If you're using your mouse and your pointer, you can create you can only create one file at a time, but with commands, you can type one command to create multiple files at the same time. So, but let's look at how to create a file. To create a file, you can use the touch command. With the touch command and then the file name, file underscore name. If I run this command at this moment, we are able to create a file called file underscore name. So, but at this point, let's see. Okay, we are in our project directory. So let's create a file in our project directory let's call it index.html, for example, or index.php. So index.html, let's call it that way. Okay. Our file name is touch. To create file, write the touch command, and then the file name, index.html. When you do index.html, ls, your file is created, the index.html. So you could create another file called index.txt. It's a text file, index.txt. Oh, don't forget to use your touch command here to create index.txt. Now ls, we have created a text file and HTML file. Now, what if we want to create multiple files at the same time? Let's say we want to create, no matter the type of file, be it a text file or whatever. All right, want to create multiple files at the same time. You use the touch command, and this time around, you pass the name of file A, just use space to separate to file B, file C, file D. So before, okay, let me end at C so before I run this command, let's say we want all these files to be created. Okay, let's allow it first now. Get it created. Now ls, you can now see we have file A, file B, file C, created all at once with one single command. We're able to do that with one single command. Okay. So if you're following, let's do this live demo together. So in your home directory where you are, remember to go back to your home directory. The cd command takes you to your home directory. So in your home directory, create a new directory, call my project, or do cd or ls. You'll see I have my project here. I want you to create a new directory called my project inside my project. So to do that, okay, I'm going to call it my underscore project this time around. Create the directory called my project. I'll do directory dir with the make command dir, and I call it my underscore my underscore project. My underscore project. The next thing is navigate into the directory cd my underscore project, cd into the project, that's move into the project, and inside. So now we have created we have created the project directory rather. Now I want you to create two subdirectories named asset and script inside the project. Create two subdirectory called asset and script. So if you do, we have moved inside the directory. If you do ls, there's nothing inside. Ls, there's nothing inside. So we need to create two directories. How do you create two directories again? If you do make directory, name directory number one is name assets. The other one is script. So now if you do ls, we have assets and scripts in our project directory. Now in our project directory, we have asset and script. The next thing is I want you to create an empty readme folder. So readme, I'm going to create a file rather, empty readme file. You're going to use the touch to create a file. Remember, it's always touch. Then I'm going to call it readme.md. Okay, readme.md file. So we now have in our project directory assets, we have readme and we have scripts. So for our project. So those are the two things we have created right now. Now, the next thing we want to look at is we have seen how to navigate, move around into folders and out of folder, move to our home directory, create files, and so on. We need to also know how to delete them. So at the end of the day, we want to be able to see how to delete them, delete files and directories. So we have seen how to to create. We need to see how to do crot. All right. Okay. Let's say create. We have seen the create. Now let's look at creating files and directory. Let's see how we can delete files and directory. How do you delete file? To delete a file, so I'm going to navigate back to the home directory and I'll move to my initial project with my dash project. So okay, so how do you move to your project? You have to go with the cd command. So in this project, we have these files that we created. Now, how do we delete files? At least the file to see the file I want to delete. First of all, I want to delete index.html, this particular file. How do I delete the file? To delete a file, you just use the remove command. Remove command is rm, is a short form for remove. So the command is the remove command. And then you type the file name. In this case, is index.html. I type index.html. Take a clean look of our files and then look at what happened. After that, I do the ls again. You see index.html is no more there. If you want to your system to prompt you for confirmation before deleting a file, you will use the rm and then you use the -i and then your file name. For example, let's delete file C. See, it says remove regular rm remove regular empty file C. You say yes. ls. So file C is gone. So it prompted you for confirmation. Now we have seen how to remove a file from our system. We have seen how to remove a file from our system. Now, how do you remove a directory? How do you remove a directory? Okay, in our directory here, we have our parent directory, and inside the parent directory, we have a child directory. Let's navigate into, okay, let's create a temporal directory. Let's say, remember to make directory, do make directory. I'll call it temp. Okay, I'll call it temp. So there's a directory called tmp. How do we delete or remove directory? Remember, it's called remove command. So to remove a directory, you do the rm, but since it's a directory, you do the -r and then the directory name. So I'll put temp. If I do that, our directory is gone. Okay. I'm trying not to run too fast again because I know people need to catch up with the concept. So practice makes perfect. Okay. So it's for you to grasp this perfectly or better in a better way to better understand, you need to practice. That's what we're going to do. I want you to go now in your system. If you are not doing it alongside with me, what I want you to do now is go on your terminal. Go on your terminal and we'll go back to our initial file. We'll go to cd my underscore project. Now I'm inside my underscore project. What you need to do now is I want you to delete the readme file. I want you to delete the readme file. So to delete the readme file, you need to use the rm command, the readme. Now the readme file is gone. So I want you to now try removing the asset directory. Try removing the asset directory on your own. So let's try it without using the arrow flag. So we do the rm. I mean, if we're trying to remove the asset, we are treating it as a directory, remember, right? So if you just do this, it doesn't work because rm cannot remove assets. It's a directory. So if it was a file, it would work, but because it's a directory, rm without the -arrow flag does not work. So rm -arrow assets. So we've successfully removed that. The arrow is called the recursive flag. When we pass the recursive flag, it's able to remove the directory. Okay, at this point, we'll do a little bit more hands-on practice exercise. I'm going to come here. I'll create a workspace in this directory. Let me clear. Now, let me remove arrow. I want to remove my underscore project and to remove dash arrow my dash project. Okay, so what I want to do at this point is I want to create a new project directory. Make directory projects. So at this point, create a new project called projects. Inside the project, I want you to create two subdirectory, project 1 and project 2. Create two subdirectory in your project directory. Two subdirectories. Go ahead and do that. Create two subdirectory in your project directory. Project 1 and project 2. All right, so I've created that. I'm going to do cd into project and then make directory, two more directory, project 1, project 2. So we have project 1, project 2. So after doing that, I want you to navigate to project 1 and create files inside your project 1. To navigate to project 1, you do cd project 1. Do cd present working directory. You can see I'm in project 1. PWD, I'm in project 1. So, but now in project 1, we need to create, I want you to go ahead and pause this video and create index.html, style.css, and app.js. Create these three files, index.html, style.css, and app.js. So the files I want you to create again are index.html. That's one. Oops, index.html. That's one. The second one I want you to create is style.css. Styles.css, and the last one is app.js. So those are the 4 files I want you to create at this point. Then pause the video and go ahead and create them. Okay, if you have done it, this is how you're supposed to do it. Touch and index.html, style.css, app.js, ls. So you have the files created. So you can confirm your directory structure by using the ls command. You do the ls, or you can install the tree utility to be able to see. Okay, another command, we can do the ls to view your directory, but another command that lets you see your directory tree in a more appealing manner is if you can install the tree command. Let me see if I installed tree or okay, I have the tree command installed already. So to install, we're going to see how to do package management, how to install packages on your system. So by using tree, it gives me my structure in a nice way. So to better appreciate it, I'll go to cd and type tree. So it gives you a tree structure. It gives you a structure of my project. Where is the project we're in? Okay, this is it. So you can see inside projects, we have project 1. And inside project 1, we have all of this. So this is tree structure of our project we're working with. Okay, so that's using tree. Now let's practice deleting files and directory once more again. So I'm going to clear my screen. To do that practice deleting files and directory again. So I'll go back to my project 1. Project 1. So inside project 1, delete the style.css. I want you to delete the style.css. And then you go back to your projects directory and delete project 2. So this is instruction. Inside your project 1, where you are, delete the style.css, then go back to your root project, which is projects, and delete project 2. So after you've done that, okay. All right, so project, I'm in here, I have to delete styles.css. So to delete styles.css, I have to do rm. Since it's a file, I don't need to add any attribute. Style.css, ls, it is gone. So I have to go delete project 2, cd. To go back to projects, I do double 2 dots to go back 1 step to the parent folder, to parent projects folder. Now I can list my content. You can see I have project 1 and project 2. So to remove a directory again, rm, but this time around you have to put -r and project 2, ls, project 2 is now gone. Now in this our learning process, and in every session we are going to have a project, and this project might be, we'll have a project activity which we'll probably be building on going forward. Like let's say we can have a project that we start building in lesson 1. We build on our knowledge on lesson 2 and add to the project. But in lesson 3, we build on our knowledge on what we're learning, the concept what we're learning in lesson 3, and see how we can apply it in our practice session, and then now build how do we adapt it our projects to add those concepts as well. So in this session, we are going to create so the project, we're going to build a web app structure. In this project, we are building a web app structure. So imagine that you are setting up a project for a new web applications, right? There are step-by-step process how to be able to set a structure. And here I'm going to guide you through that. So the first thing is to create and manage a project directory. You have to be able to create and manage a project directory. The first step is to create the basic directory, the basic project directory. And then from the basic project directory, you'll be able to create essential files that are needed for that project. So how do you go about it? So this is a project you're doing. If you can watch the video and then do it later on, pause the video, do it later on, it'll be good. So our project directory, we are inside projects and this project that we are looking at now is going to be our web project. So, and because we're going to be creating directories inside directories. So we are going to use the -p. Our project is a web app, web_app. And inside the web app, we're going to create a src, the resource directory. Inside the web _app, we're going to create assets inside the web _app / create docs for documentation. Now we can do this. If you do 3, you can see that our web app has asset documentation and resource. Okay. Now the next step is we have created our basic directory. The next step is that we want to create our essential files for a web app. What are some of the basic essential files for our web app? Now the first thing we want to do is we want to navigate into our files. So let's navigate into our project directory by typing the web app. Present working directory. We are now inside our web app. Okay, present working directory. We are inside the web app and we can see that now the next step I told you was to create essential files. So I want you to go inside the src folder or directory and create index.html. So I can actually create this file without necessarily going inside from this project home directory. I can create a file by using the touch and using the src/ and typing the file name. The file name is index.html. If I do 3, you should see index.html inside this folder. But remember, we are not in that folder because if we do pwd, you see that we are not in this src folder. So what do we do now? The next task is for you to create. You have created the index.html. Now I want you to create the style.css in your asset directory. If you do your ls, now you need to create style inside this directory. How do we do that? Again, we'll go with the touch command. You navigate into touch command. We are going to the asset. Then we are creating the style.css in that directory. And yes, so we created the style.css in that directory and take enter. The last thing you need to do is the readme file has to be inside the doc. Readme is a form of documentation, so it has to be in the docs directory. So you create that as well, touch, and this time around we are going with docs / readme.md. If you now do 3, you can see in asset we have styles, in doc we have readme.dm, and in src we have our index.html file. So that is our basic web structure. That's our basic web structure. Okay, so navigation and verification. You can use the cd command to move through your directories, confirm the contents in the directory by using the ls. So I can go back to cd into docs, for example, ls, and I confirm that I have this in the docs directory. So I can clear that. ls can confirm that I can cd ... and then cd into assets, ls, confirm that I have style or CSS inside. So you can do that. Okay. You can do just that. So now cleaning up, I want you to delete the docs directory completely. Delete the docs directory. Right. So deleting the docs directory, where are we? pwd cd dash. So navigating back into our project, we have a project here. How do you remove the docs directory when you are not inside your project? Remember, if you list, you're not inside the project, how do you remove it? rm-r web / docs. Want to remove the directory entirely. So if I now go ls web app, you now see that ls web. You can now see that we have completely removed docs and we are left with just 2 folders. And that brings us to the end of our projects for this session. Now, but I have a few questions for you. How would you create a directory named demo inside your home directory? How would you create a directory named demo inside your home directory? How will you go about doing that? If what came to your mind was using the make directory command along with the appropriate path, then that's the hint that I can give you. So, but now choosing the appropriate path, how do you do that? Okay, which command lists all files, including hidden files in a directory? Let's say you want to see all files, including hidden files. Which command will you use? What command removes an entire directory? If you want to remove an entire directory, what command are you going to use? I want you to write the command to create a file named script.sh. I want you to create I want you to write a command to create a file named script.sh in the bin directory. In the bin directory. Can you do that? What does the command rm-i file name do? rm-i file name. rm-i file name or file underscore name. What does this command do? If I hit run on this command, what happens? What happens? What was it trying to do that error came? And why did I have that error? Okay, so today we covered a lot of grounds, from navigating the file system to creating and deleting files and directories. So these commands form the backbone or the bedrock of managing your workspace in Linux. As you practice, remember that mastery comes with repetition and exploration. So I want you to repeat this project we've just done, the exercises, and explore. Don't be afraid. You wouldn't break anything by trying to do something. So feel free to ask any question or try additional maybe exercises on your own and come up with questions in our next class as we meet. I want to see if you have questions, post them on the comment section. If you lack understanding in one area, I'll be happy to elaborate on. So happy coding. Thank you very much.